Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, comrades, and connections, social media friends. I will be reading out instead of for the study of war email that has come to my email ID. I will be reading out that it is not a status update from LinkedIn. It is an email update. They have given. This is on 31st December 2025. Today is 1st January 2026. Because the cutoff time is something mentioned, but it is up to 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. in the night, in the afternoon. Thank you. I'll be reading out the status update, email update. Russian forces increased their average rate of advance in 2025 due to a new operational template supported by technological adaptation and a shift in assault tactics. ISW observed evidence to assess that Russian forces seized 4,831 square kilometers in Ukraine and regained roughly 473 square kilometers that Ukrainian forces that had taken in Kursk. Oblast in 2025. Russian gains in Ukraine amounted to 0.8% of Ukraine's territory. Russian forces had seized 3,604 square kilometers in Ukraine. The data from the Ukrainian General Staff shows that the Russian forces suffered 416,570 casualties throughout 2025 for an average of 78 casualties per square kilometer seized in Ukraine and Kursk Oblast. The average daily Russian rate of advance in 2025 was 13.24 square kilometers per day, higher than the average daily average of 9.87 square kilometers per day 2024. This Russian rate of advance has not been consistent throughout 2025. However, the Russian rate of advance was highest in November 2025, November at 20.99 kilometers square kilometers per day, but the high but his high came that after 1,000 months, so one of slowest months in 2025, 8.8 square kilometers per day in October and subsequently slowed to 15 square kilometers per day in December. Russian forces began employing a new operational template that relies on a prolonged battlefield in intersection BAI campaign, tactical prediction, intersection efforts, military promissions, and mass small group assault that enabled the Russian advances in the Pokrovsk, Kislovsk, and directions that occurred in fall 2025. Russian forces began achieving some BA efforts by using UAVs to perfect Ukrainian ground lines of communication glows. In early spring 2025, the Russian military began to proliferate its elite drone operations of the Rubikin Center for Advanced Unmanned Technologies. The elements that have been largely responsible for successes Russian operations 9AL efforts across the in April and May 2025. The Russian military command largely prioritized efforts to seize the remainder of Donetsk, Bryansk, and established a buffer zone in northern Sunny and Kyrgyz Oblast in 2025 but failed to accomplish these goals. Ukrainian presidential office deputy head Colonel Paolo Palisa stated on June 5th that Russia to seize and occupy the full extent of Donetsk and Lugansk blast by September 1, 2025, but to create a buffer zone along the failed along the northern Ukraine-Russian border by end of 2025, both of which tasked the Russian forces failed to complete. Russian forces priorities. Efforts to seize Pokos is advance in Western advances into Pokos in September 2025 and have seized 57.63% of the town as of efforts toward and began making notable advances towards the towns in November 2025. Russian forces began opening while when in early December 2025, Russian sabotage and reconnaissance groups infiltrated toward Dobrovolsk in August 2025, but the Russian military compared was unable to reinforce uh, into enforce that penetration and turn by tactical level advances into an operational level breakthrough, and Ukrainian forces subsequently retook roughly 70 square kilometers of the penetration. Russian forces also continued attempts to develop and envelop Ukraine's fortresses Ukraine fortress built from the south to north head, something like that. I'll be sharing this article in social media as well as the video. Thank you.